Hi, I'm Sam. I go to school at Whitewater for Media Arts and Game Development, and I was hoping you could explain to us why the northern lights and southern lights only happen near the north and south poles.
My name is Marion Maitling. I am a graduate student and research assistant in the Department of Atmospheric and Oceanic Sciences here at the University of Wisconsin-Madison. What happens when the northern lights form is there's a solar flare from the sun, and this occurs because the sun has its own rotational cycle. It's 11 years long. And so these solar flares eject these electrons that kind of act as a wind and flow toward the Earth. So when it reaches Earth, it actually doesn't reach our atmosphere at first. It hits our magnetic field. So it's also referred to as the geomagnetic field. So this magnetic field will deflect these electrons. So they'll go up and around and hit near the polar regions. And so that's what happens on the daytime side. You can see I've drawn a shadow where the sunlight does not reach, and that's the nighttime side of the Earth. And so when the solar wind goes around the Earth, it actually reaches the backside of our magnetic field. It looks slightly different because it's distorted from the sun's own magnetic field. So when it hits the backside of the magnetic field, it is also drawn in toward the pole, and that creates the nighttime aurora. And so that happens at both the northern and southern poles, but not exactly at the poles. They're centered around the geomagnetic poles, which are slightly about 10 degrees of latitude different than the regular poles. And so that creates sort of like a ring that creates the auroras all around the geomagnetic poles. When it reaches our atmosphere at these polar regions is the electrons from the sun will interact with the oxygen and nitrogen. Those are the most abundant gases in our atmosphere. And that is what causes these colors to show up. And they show up in kind of these curtains due to the structure of the magnetic field. It's green and blue that are the most common colors that occur. Sometimes they show up as oranges and pinks, and that's probably just due to the photon wavelength interaction that's going on.